All right, we're going to, I have to do it like this, but we'll make it work here. We're going on to compound inequalities. So compound inequalities, you have two types of inequalities. This is when you have an and, so that is when you have both quantities work. And you have an or, and that's when it's on the outside. It's just one or the other. Okay, so for example, if I look at this one right here, a number cannot be less than 2 and greater than 3 at the same time. It has to be an or. So when you graph that, you're going to graph everything less than or equal to 2 and anything greater than or equal to greater than 3, sorry, open circle. And so it's called an or because you can't be both of those things. You can either be less than a -2 or greater than 3. Okay, and so if you look at the examples, and when you solve these, I am going to do them separately. So I'm going to add 4, and x is less than a -3. So I'm going to go to a -3 and put an open circle, and I'm going less. And then you have to solve the other one. You're going to divide by 2, and x is greater than or equal to 6. So then I would have a filled in circle here, and it's going out this direction. Okay, so they're going to go away from each other. So my answer, and I'm not really so worried about this, is going to be a -infinity. Oh, I'll use pink to show the different ones. I'm going to go from a -infinity to -3 with a parentheses. And then I'm going to use this union symbol, and it's also from 6 with a bracket to infinity. Okay, and so that's my interval notation, and I'm really not worried about that. I'm just worried about the graph. Okay, so let's take a look at example 3. So I'm going to solve them separately. So I'm going to -9, and I get 2x is greater than 8. And then I'm going to divide by 2 and divide by 2, and x is greater than 4. So I'm going to put an open circle at 4, and I'm going this way. And then I'm going to solve the other one. I'm going to -10 and -10, and 5x is less than 0. I'm going to divide by 5 and divide by 5, and x is less than 0. So I'm going to have an open circle here, and they go outside of each other. If you would like to do interval notation, you can, but I'm not asking you to. Okay, let's take a look at number 4. So I'm going to add 14 and add 14, and I get 7x is greater than or equal to 14. Divide by 7, and I get x is greater than or equal to 2. So I'm going to put a circle here, and I'm going like this. And then I'm going to -5 and -5, and I get 4x is less than or equal to a -8. Divide by 4, and x is less than or equal to a -2. So I'm going to fill in the circle, and it's going this way. Okay? All right, then you have an and. So what's going to happen with an and is if you're greater than a -6 and you're less than or equal to 1, okay, your final answer is everything in this region. So my interval notation would be it's between a -6 and 1. So this is in between. Okay, because the solutions to an and fall between two endpoints, they are written in a more condensed form. So if you use this example, a lot of times people will write it like this. -6 is less than or equal to x, which is less than or equal to 1. And they call this a compound inequality. Okay, and I'm not really so worried about you doing it that way, but if you look at this next one, you can split this up into 2. So you have one that's 2 is less than or equal to x plus 4. And then if I circle this, you have x plus 4 is less than 9. Okay, so you're doing each of them separately. So I'm going to -4 and -4, and I get a -2. And it's saying that if I write it the other way, it's saying x is greater than or equal to a -2. So it's everything bigger than. And if I do the other one, I'm going to -4 and -4, and x is less than 5. So it's an open circle at 5, and it's going this way. So my final answer is in between. So my answer is a -2 to 5 with parentheses. Okay, so let's try another one of these. So I'm going to just circle the first part, and I get a negative 27 is less than 7x minus 13. So I would add 13 and add 13, and I get a negative 14 is less than 7x, divide by 7, and negative 2. So it's, if I write it the other way, x is greater than, not equal to, I don't know why I put that, x is greater than a negative 2. So I'm going to put an open circle here, and it's everything bigger than. But now I'm going to take and I'm going to circle this other side. So I'm going to do 7x minus 13 is less than 8. So I'm going to add 13 and add 13, and I get 7x is less than 21. Divide by 7, and x is less than 3. Whoa, back off. X is less than 3. So my final answer is everything in between. It's in between. Oh, that's definitely parentheses. It's in between a negative 2 and 3 with parentheses.